So you've heard about Lenormand, maybe you've bought a deck and you're just cracking open that deck for the very first time, or maybe you're thinking about buying a deck, but you won't know what to do with it when you get it. If that's you, welcome. You are in the right place. I'm Emily Rose. I'm a professional Lenormand and tarot reader. I also teach tarot readers and the mystically minded to read Lenormand like they're talking to a friend. And today I am here to show you how to get started reading Lenormand with my absolute favorite exercise for beginners. If you're here, then you probably already know what Lenormand is, but to put it simply, Lenormand is a divinatory card system. And when we say Lenormand, we typically mean the Petite Lenormand, which has 36 cards traditionally in a deck. Lenormand is notorious for having a straight up, sassy, to the point kind of vibe. And what tends to give it this feeling is that you string the cards together to create meaning like you're reading a sentence. Ask a question to Lenormand, get prepared for a straight up answer. If you ask something like, why is my partner being so distant with me? It may say, well, he's interested in someone else. Or it may say, he's actually into you and you're overreacting. It'll give you something really straight up, just like one of those sassy to the point friends that you have. I have a few videos and posts about what Lenormand is and how it works, which I will link down in the description below. But for our purposes, the main thing to know is that we read Lenormand in pairs. And Lenormand pairs or combos, as we call them, are kind of the building blocks for reading Lenormand at any level. If you learn how to read Lenormand card combos, as we like to call them, then you are pretty far down the road in terms of your Lenormand learning. So that is what we're focusing on here. This is what's going to get you the results the fastest, because if you know how to read Lenormand card combos, you know how to read the building blocks for any possible Lenormand spread that you could think of. Mentioned, what I'm going to show you inside this video is my absolute favorite exercise for learning Lenormand for beginners specifically. Now, even if you're already a little bit experienced in reading Lenormand, this can sharpen your Lenormand skills, and make sure to watch to the end because I'm going to give you some tips for variations, especially if you're a little bit further down the Lenormand road. What you're going to need for that exercise. You'll need any Petite Lenormand deck. So here I'm going to be using the Rana George Lenormand as an example. This is my favorite Lenormand deck. It is, very easy to read what each card is. It's very simple in that way, but the artwork is also beautiful. So if you don't have a Lenormand deck, I highly recommend this one. You're going to need is a list of keywords. I recommend having it in a simple to read form like a cheat sheet. I do have a free one you can snag at emilyrosedivination.com/mini course. If you sign up for my free mini course, you'll get delivered 3 lessons to you via email. The first email that you will be sent will have a workbook with that cheat sheet in it. So not only are you getting the cheat sheet, but you're also going to learn how to do daily draws for yourself with that mini course. So that's a totally free resource for you, which you can find at that link, emilyrosedivination.com/mini course, also in the description. If you do have any Lenormand books, there's probably a cheat sheet within there as well. And also on my website, I have every Lenormand card meaning there too, so you can also just use that as a resource. All of that is going to be linked in the description. If you want to do this exercise as soon as I'm done showing you how to do it, or you want to do it along with me, then go ahead and pause me to collect those items. If you do sign up for the mini course, you should get that email right away, so you'll be able to use it for this exercise whenever you want. Without further ado, I'm going to first show you how to read Lenormand, and then we'll get into the exercise. To start with, let me show you how to read Lenormand. So the way that we read Lenormand pairs, the card on the right modifies the card on the left. What do I mean by that? So typically the card that's on the right is going to be the adjective, adverb, verb. It's going to somehow impact, happen to, or modify this first card here on the left-hand side. The easiest way to show you is with an example. So here we have the stork on the left-hand side. The stork is like progress, change, improvement, something like that typically. Then we have the mice, which can mean loss, stress, anxiety, things like that. Now there are much more meanings for these cards than that, but I'm just giving you a few examples here. So the main thing we're talking about here is the stork because it's on the left-hand side. And the mice is happening to the stork. So here what we have is there's a loss of progress in some way. The progress is being drained somehow. But if we reverse it, then we have the mice as the main thing, and the stork is happening to the mice. So in this case, we have progress after a loss, we have an improvement in anxiety, something like that. It's almost the complete opposite meaning, and all we did was flip the cards around. So you can see what I mean by the order matters a lot when it comes to Lenormand, and mastering how to read card combinations is going to be how you master Lenormand. Without further ado, I'm going to show you my absolute favorite practice for reading Lenormand for beginners, and I call it the combo shuffle. So what I did was I went ahead and shuffled these cards, and now what I'm going to do is go through this entire deck pair by pair and read each pair. The great thing about this is that if you shuffle your cards, you're going to have a whole new set of combinations to practice with that are random. So that's what these are. This is just a random shuffle that I did. And now let's go ahead and read these cards pair by pair. In Lenormand, context is everything. And for this example here, I'm not going to be within a specific context because we're just brainstorming, coming up with different ideas. So as you're watching this, you can come up with your own possible meanings of card combos. And if you have that cheat sheet next to you while you're watching this, you can pause this video anytime and come up with your own possible interpretations. All right, let's combo. So I'm gonna go ahead and come up with my first combo here. We have the woman and we have the bear. For this combo, I would say a strong woman. This could be a mother, someone who's in that type of role. There are so many possible meanings for this combo. It is virtually endless, but I'm just going to state a couple here so you can get a sense of how to do this exercise on your own, and you don't have to come up with 800 combos meanings for each combination that we're talking about, but I just wanted to give you a sense of how you could possibly read these. Okay, our next combo, we have the letter and we have the ring. This to me is probably going to be a contract of some kind. We have the letter, which is like paperwork or something like that, an invitation. We have the ring. So this could also be like a wedding invitation, but typically this combo for me is like a contract in some way. Next we have the dog and the lilies. I would say old friend, like a wise friend, is another potential reading of that. Next we have the mountain and the scythe. Now this can look scary when you're looking at it, but I actually love this combo because it's cutting through obstacles in some way since the scythe is modifying the mountain. Next we have the coffin and the whip. Okay, the first thing that comes to mind for this is beating a dead horse, or it could be working, doing some type of activity, or cleaning after resting. Next up, we have the snake and the book. Okay, so I see this as like a hidden or a secret problem. Then we have the clover and we have the key. Ooh, what a cool combo. So I see this as an important opportunity of some kind, or an opportunity that gives you access or success to something. Next, we have the heart and the fish. I see this as a lot of love, abundant love, flowing love, so much love here. We have the man and the moon. So I see this as like an attractive man, a romantic man. Get saucy vibes from him. Okay, next we have the house and we have the tree. Okay, so this could be talking about the health of a family. This could also be discussing a family growing. This could also be extended family in a way. There's, oh my gosh, so many with this one. Okay, next up we have the crossroads and the clouds. The first thing I feel with this is like confusion. It's like unsure which way to go, doubt about a decision coming up, unsure where to go, what to do. Then we have the garden and the bouquet. Ooh, I just see this as a pretty place. Then we have the tower and the anchor. So I could see this as a very stable company of some kind. Tower can mean a corporation, company of some kind, a big organization. This could also be being very solid alone, someone who's really solid on their own, since the tower can also mean isolation, being on your own, and the anchor can mean being very stable, secure. Next up, we have the birds and the cross. Okay, so this would be a hard conversation is the first thing that comes to mind here. Birds to me is almost always some type of verbal communication, and the cross is something heavy, like that cross you bear. So heavy conversation, something weighing on the conversation being had. Here we have the stars and the fox, so I could see this as like sneaky plans of some kind, since the stars can represent future and the fox can represent manipulation, doing something that's maybe not on the surface. Next up, we have the ship and the sun. So I see this as a happy, fun trip of some kind. This could also be going on a trip somewhere sunny. Last but not least, we have the writer and the child. So I could see this as a new visitor coming to town. This could also be like a small delivery. So many possibilities here. And as I mentioned, there are literally endless possibilities for what each combo could mean. So please don't feel like this is the only possible meaning for these combos. There are so many possibilities here. This is just meant to get your brain going, give you an example. And you also saw how fast that was. You can then, if you want to keep practicing, you can just put all the cards back in, shuffle, redraw, and do it again. There are a lot of variations for this exercise, and that's why I love it so much, is because you can tweak it to suit your needs as you grow as a reader. So one variation is to read each combo within a specific context. So maybe you go through the deck and you're pretending everything's read within a love context or a work context or a spiritual context. So that's a variation you can use if you're trying to get better at reading within specific contexts. Another variation is to simply flip the cards around. As I mentioned, the order matters a lot in Lenormand, so you can read a combo as you drew it. So let's say you drew like bouquet scythe, then you can flip it around and read it scythe bouquet to see how the cards are different, how the meaning is different, and that's a really great way to get the nuance between the card order. Get stuck on a particular combo and you're wanting to get your Lenormand juices moving, then you can head to my website, emilyrosedivination.com. I have a post for every single Lenormand card on there, and I have sample combinations there as well. So that's a really great way to just get some ideas to kind of keep your brain moving. If you loved this and you're wanting to go further and learn how to read 3-card spreads, then feel free to take my free mini course, emilyrosedivination.com/mini course. I'll teach you how to do daily draws and how to read Lenormand with your life to really learn it without having to memorize a bunch of meanings. So that is the next step. And again, you can find that at emilyrosedivination.com/mini course. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want more videos like this in the future, let me know. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and happy divining.